So I'm going to begin every EFT session with this exact footage because it'll be easier for me to separately record the audio. So this introduction is just going to be what the tapping points are, how to use them with the recording that will come immediately after this, and we'll just do a little bit of just getting into our bodies, just a small meditation to get us into that nice ventral state. But if you're unfamiliar, the tapping points, we're going to be using the crown. And when you tap, you're tapping with a decent amount of pressure, but you're not poking. You're probably wanting to hit the same spot like 7 to 14 times before moving to the next, but you don't actually have to count. It's just to give you a feel for how long you'll be at one point. And typically, sentence by sentence or line by line, you'll be moving down the points. So, we go crown, then the third eye, then right at the side of the eye, then there's a point here, and this one should be pretty easy to find if you're hitting it right. At least for me, there was a lot of tension when I started doing this here, and you could sort of feel it ripple out. So this one was really an important meridian for me. The next is the philtrum, which is this area between the upper lip and the nose. And then the next one is like just above the chin, just below the lower lip. Beyond that, you'll be tapping on the chest, pretty much hovering around the collarbones. And if that's all you want to do and then come back to here, that's fine. There are also two, like your ribs stop here, your pecs stop here, or breasts, and then this area of ribs right on the top, that's another meridian point that we can use. There's also about it's hard to describe exactly where this is. It's like in line with your sternum, but to the side, and that's of course both. And beyond that, you can tap right here at the wrist where you have the joint. You can do the karate chop point here. Then, yeah, I'll go through the fingers as well. But you'd be tapping sort of toward the corner of your thumbnail, then toward the corner of your index, toward the corner of the nail on your middle, and the meridian on the ring finger is actually on the other side, so you would switch from going top down to going bottom up, again at the corner of the nail. And with the pinky, you would go back to top down, doing the same thing. But those aren't needed. The face is just the most important. But, again, you will, while tapping, you'll sort of feel natural points. Sorry, there's a road there, and I don't know how noisy that truck is going to be to the camera. But there will be a natural point getting into this where you'll just know after completing a thought to sort of move to the next. But that's the introduction to the tapping. The recordings will just be stating certain emotions or psychological concepts, and you're just sort of tapping through each idea one point at a time and just moving through it. And at any point, if something I say in the recording doesn't match up or align with anything that you struggle with, but and you don't want to say it, you can fill in the blank with something that is sort of fitting to the idea that we're tapping through that does apply to you specifically. And you don't have to speak out loud, but I would suggest at least like breathing out the words as if you were going to enunciate them, at the very least. So let's just begin by taking a deep breath in through the diaphragm. And just hold it at the top for a moment. And slowly exhale. Again. Exhale. And just sink into your body. I just want to feel the air on your skin. If there's any heat, any cool breeze, any sunshine that's easily noticeable on your skin. And we'll take another slow, deep breath in. And I want you to feel the expansion of your diaphragm and into your lungs. And then hold it for a few seconds. And as you slowly exhale, I just want you to feel the release that comes with that. Notice the sense of gravity, the feeling of your muscles being pulled down. Just notice how grounding that is, how cozy. Can you feel your heartbeat at all? How fresh is the air that you breathe? And now, we begin tapping. This is a tapping session for self-improvement agitation. So, begin tapping the points and follow along. Sometimes I wish I were different. At times, I tell myself that certain parts of me need to be fixed. At times, I tell myself I would be happier if I were different. I have even withheld love for myself as a future reward for improving. That was cold, and I no longer want to be cold to myself. Now take in a deep breath. Hold it for a few seconds, and release it. Sometimes I really wish that I were different. That I didn't have all of my issues and coping mechanisms. At times, my coping mechanisms are bad habits. And some days, I feel that I'm out of control. Taking a deep breath and release it. When I feel out of control or uncertain, part of me is afraid. Part of me is afraid I'm damned to be me. Sometimes I feel like I'm stuck inside my mind and inside my body. And at times, it terrifies me to think I'll always be trapped inside myself. I don't want to feel hopeless or stuck. Again, let's take a deep breath. Hold it. And then release it. Sometimes it feels like I'm putting so much effort and energy into changing that I'm exhausting myself to make baby steps in the right direction. At times, it feels like I can't trust myself to make progress. In those times, I feel angry at myself for not being better, more healed, or more capable. I want to experience myself more healed. Breathe in. Slowly release the breath. Sometimes I wish I could heal and improve faster. At times, I get impatient with myself. In the past, I've thought things like, why can't I just be better already? How much longer until I'm finally different? I have put so much work and discipline into myself. At times it feels like I should be better by now. At times I wonder if I'll ever improve, if I'll ever get to be the healed me. At times, the thought of me still having all of these flaws and behavior patterns in the future is overwhelming. Sometimes I feel overwhelmed by all the things I feel the need to improve about myself.
And the very thought of still being just as I am for the next 5 years can be a heavy thought to hold. At times, it hurts to think I'll still be this way throughout the future. I just want to know the blood, sweat, and tears of healing and improving will be worth it. Let's take in a deep breath. Now release it slowly. I wish I could honestly promise myself it will all be worth it. Instead, I can only promise that I will be here with myself, to hold myself through the difficult times with love and acceptance. I want to honestly say that I will love and accept myself no matter what. When I think back to the love I needed as a child, I understand the craving for unconditional love. Many times, other people failed to give me that unconditional love. At times, I was made to feel unworthy of love. Many times, I was told directly or indirectly to be ashamed of myself. I was conditioned to feel I needed to be a certain way, or to behave in a certain way, in order to earn love. Let's take a deep breath. And take your time releasing it. I want to be able to give my inner child the kind of love they've always needed. But every time I try to fix myself, I reinforce the ideas that love is something that has to be earned. I have always wanted to be loved for me. I want to be loved for who I am, not because I'm smart or pretty or funny or whatever, but because I'm me. Notice how it feels to be in your body right now. I know my desire for improvement is well intended. But the idea of self-improvement is rooted in the feeling of not being enough just the way that I am. At times I feel agitation, because self-improvement can feel so conflicted. Sometimes it feels like I'm going against the grain, attempting to force the changes I want to see. But it's not a very accepting experience to force myself to change. I want to be more gentle and accepting of myself. Breathe in. Hold it. Slowly release it. I am open to the possibility that self-improvement is often the opposite of what my inner child always wanted, always yearned for. I want love to be unconditional, and yet the love I give myself is conditional, often contingent on a success that I fix and change and repair, all the things I begrudge myself for. I acknowledge that holding grudges against myself is not loving. I know that self-directed anger is not conducive to healing wounds. I want to be on my own side. I plan to love and accept myself exactly as I am. I plan to give my inner child the unconditional love they've always yearned for. Let's take in a breath. Now release it. I am here to give myself the support, love, and acceptance I've longed for in this life. But sometimes I fear my own forgiveness because I want to improve. At times I wonder if I would improve at all if I fully accepted myself. And at times, the thought of not changing feels awful. I am aware of how it feels to be my own enemy. I want to let go of feelings of resentment and anger I hold for myself. For today, I can let go of my anger and resentment. For 1 week, I can let go of my anger and just see how it plays out. I am letting go of my self-resentment because I can take a break from it. And if my inner child feels more safe and at home, perhaps I'll take a break for the rest of my life. I acknowledge that what my inner child needs is not to be contorted into a more lovable shape, but rather to be loved wholly, regardless of their shape. I want to be that wholly loving force for my inner child. I am here today to be that wholly loving force for my inner child. Let's take a deep breath. Release it. Today, I want to set an intention for my future. I will hold myself with more love and acceptance. I will explore my shadows with curiosity. I will hold my wounds with more compassion. I will investigate my coping with more understanding. I will view myself with more patience. And let's do those ones again. I will hold myself with more love and acceptance. I will explore my shadows with curiosity. I will hold my wounds with more compassion. I will navigate my coping with more understanding. I will view myself with more patience. Today, I want to mean it when I say, I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. All right, relax. Let's take in a deep breath together. Release it. And just feel. Just feel what it's like to be in you right now. If you feel a little less overwhelmed, maybe you feel like you're more connected to that inner child. And just sit in these feelings. Maybe it's relief. Maybe it's grief. But just soak in it for a moment. And just acknowledge that you came here for healing today. That you had the courage to face some uncomfortable thoughts and feelings regarding your life experience. Honor yourself for that. Thank you, and have a lovely day.